I started track when I was 4. Pretty much the only thing I could remember is track and field, and I set my life goals around track. Track is everything to me.
She was breaking records before she could even drive, soaring through the air with the kind of fire most athletes only dream about. Tara Davis-Woodhall was the golden girl of track and field. Charismatic, unstoppable, born to win. But behind the cheers and cameras, she was silently falling apart, carrying wounds no one could see. When she finally spoke up about her mental health, the world didn't rally around her. It backed away. Why does telling the truth make people so uncomfortable?
I started going downhill after I got mono, and I was in bed for like 3 weeks. I wasn't practicing, along with my parents getting a divorce.
Tara Davis-Woodhall's story sounds like something out of a movie at first. Star athlete, breaking records, rising fast, and making headlines. She started track at just 4 years old. For most kids, that's when you're still figuring out how to ride a bike or draw inside the lines. But for Tara, the track was her playground, her safe space, and eventually her identity. By the time she hit high school, she was already dominating long jump events and setting national records. People saw her as this electric, high-energy athlete with a huge personality. She had the kind of talent that made coaches and fans sit up and pay attention. But what no one saw was what was happening underneath all that success. Behind the medals, interviews, and highlight reels, Tara was dealing with something much harder than competition. She was feeling alone. She recently spoke up about it, saying that when she thinks about mental health, she sees a blank canvas. That stuck with a lot of people. Because that's what I looked at all the time, she said. I didn't know what mental health was. I didn't know how to describe it, define it, or picture it. It wasn't because she didn't care. It was because no one ever talked about it. It was like this invisible thing she didn't have the words for. When she joined the University of Georgia in 2017, things looked bright. She had finally made it to a top-tier college program and even helped the team win the NCAA Indoor Women's Championship. But what people didn't see was that everything started falling apart almost immediately after that. She got mono and was stuck in bed for weeks. No training, no track, just silence and rest while everyone else moved on. And as if that wasn't enough, her parents were going through a divorce. All that emotional weight hit her like a truck. And then, just when she was trying to get back on her feet, she suffered 2 stress fractures in her back. That's when the depression really set in. She says that time in her life broke her down. She felt fragile, mentally and physically. It wasn't just about missing competitions. It was the loss of control, of identity. Everything she built her life around, track, training, family, was falling apart. Her relationship with her coach at Georgia, who she once saw as a father figure, also crumbled. She said he didn't understand what she was going through on a deeper level, emotionally. They stopped seeing eye to eye. And for someone who already felt like she couldn't talk to anyone, losing that support hit hard. That kind of emotional distance, especially from someone you trust, can make you feel completely isolated. Tara ended up transferring to the University of Texas in 2019, still healing from her injuries and carrying all this emotional baggage. And because of transfer rules, she had to sit out the season. That made things worse. She described herself as the most fragile little human being during that time.
It kind of sealed the deal.
Still recovering from fractures in her back, Tara transferred to the University of Texas in January 2019.
For Tara Davis-Woodhall, track and field wasn't just a sport. It was everything. It was her purpose, her identity, and the one constant in her life since she was 4 years old. But somewhere along the way, the thing she loved most also became the thing that broke her. Her journey at the University of Georgia started strong. She was thriving on the track, helping her team win championships and getting national attention. But behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. She got sick with mono and was forced into bed for weeks. Her body was weak, her training stalled, and the one thing she always relied on, her performance, was slipping through her fingers. On top of that, her family was going through a painful divorce. And then came the stress fractures in her back. That was when everything truly started to crumble. Her relationship with her coach, Petros Kyprianou, someone she once considered a father figure, started to deteriorate. "He was almost like a father figure to me," she said. "But we just didn't see eye to eye. He didn't understand what I was going through deeply."
Your blood circulation go throughout your body and help you stay recovered. I use it personally when I'm in between sessions or on a recovery day. And
that's where things hit a nerve. Tara wasn't just dealing with physical injuries. She was drowning emotionally, and no one seemed to notice. Or worse, they noticed and didn't know how to respond. That silence? That's what she's calling out now. The silence around mental health in sports. The fear, the discomfort, the unwillingness to talk about what isn't easy or pretty. We don't talk about it. It's hidden, it's scary, it's uncomfortable, and not pretty to look at, she explained. That's the part that really stings, because when someone like Tara speaks up, when she stops being the cheerful, energetic athlete people are used to seeing on Instagram or ESPN, people don't know how to handle it. "That's why no one ever really wants to talk to me," she said. "Because I talk about the uncomfortable stuff." She makes people face things they'd rather ignore. Pain, depression, vulnerability. And in a world that celebrates strength and winning, she's reminding everyone that even the strongest fall apart sometimes. Her breaking point led her to make a bold decision: transfer to the University of Texas in 2019. It wasn't just about a new coach or a new team. It was about survival. She needed to breathe again. But even that move wasn't easy. Georgia didn't allow her to compete right away, forcing her to sit out both the indoor and outdoor seasons. "When I first got to Texas, I was the most fragile little human being," she said. But something about being there gave her space. She wasn't fixed overnight. She didn't suddenly become whole. But slowly, she began piecing herself back together. And while others may shy away from her honesty, Tara's finally found her voice, and she's using it, even if it makes people uncomfortable.
hardest workout for me personally is running workouts. So in particular, 6 150s.
Tara Davis-Woodhall isn't just flying through the air in long jump competitions anymore. She's shaking the ground beneath the sports world. Sure, she's still an elite athlete, but these days, she's also something more. A truth teller in a space where silence has always been the norm. For Tara, speaking about mental health isn't some PR campaign or buzzword trend. It's personal, deeply personal, and raw. She's been through the kind of pain that doesn't show up in highlight reels. Injuries, emotional breakdowns, isolation, and a fight to simply be heard. Her journey proves that being physically tough is one thing, but dealing with emotional pain in a world that doesn't want to acknowledge it, that's another battle entirely. She's calling out a sports culture that praises grit and resilience, yet turns its back when an athlete says, "I'm not okay." There's this pressure to tough it out, to smile for the cameras even when you're breaking on the inside. Tara isn't playing along anymore, and that honesty, it's uncomfortable for others. She's been called dramatic, too sensitive, difficult. Not because she's done anything wrong, but because she forces people to face what they'd rather avoid, the emotional toll of high-level competition. She's not afraid to name the pain, and in doing that, she's lost people. Some have distanced themselves, others just don't know how to respond. But that hasn't stopped her, because Tara understands something most people don't. Vulnerability is strength. And when you've hit rock bottom and still find the courage to speak up, that's power. Her story matters not just because she's a talented athlete, but because she's saying what too many others are afraid to. She's asking the hard questions. Why do we celebrate an athlete's comeback from a torn ACL, but stay silent when they talk about anxiety or depression? Why is emotional pain treated like weakness? Tara isn't asking for pity, she's asking for progress. She wants real conversations between coaches and athletes. She wants support systems that actually support. and she wants every young athlete watching her to know they're not alone in how they feel. What she's doing takes guts. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's also the beginning of something bigger than medals, real change. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.